Hello, I'm the Pageant Nerd and this is my second review clip for the just completed Miss Universe 2023. You might have already caught my post-pageant thoughts clip, which I made in the hours after finals night. Here, I'm presenting my ultra-nerdy, fact and stat-heavy review. Along with my prelims review and predictions video, I've delivered my opinion a fair bit in the past couple of weeks, and now I'm returning to a much more comfortable realm. I'm doing this partly because, as I've said, I've already shared my reactions to the competition itself, but mainly because there are so many opinions, not facts, doing the rounds at the moment that I've decided to stick to what I like to do the most, and that's report on the indisputable and irrefutable. That is the cold, hard facts, stats and trivia, and today that covers Miss Universe 2023. Generally speaking, I'll present facts about each stage of competition and take a look at each country that made the semi-finals, round by round, based on where each nation finished. In other words, I'll start with the 10 countries that finished in the top 20, then go to the top 10 finishers, top 5, top 3, etc., ending with our brand new Miss Universe. In other words, you should stick around to the very end of this video because that's where all the best stuff is. Anyway, after a week of researching and number crunching, I'm super keen to share all these facts and figures with you, so I'm going to jump straight to it. We returned to a top 20 for the first time since 2019, having had 21 semi-finalists in 2020 and a top 16 the past 2 years. This rather squiggly line looks at the amount of semi-finalists there have been each year in the pageant's 72-year history. As an aside, the return of televised scoring that Kun An promised in January didn't materialise. Looking at both stagings of Miss Universe in El Salvador, 1975 and 2023, only 4 nations managed to place in both editions: the host nation, Colombia, Philippines, and U.S.A. Broken down by region, we had at least one semi-finalist from each of the following: North, Central, and South America, the Caribbean, Europe, Africa, and Asia Pacific. The Americas and Caribbean had a combined 9 semi-finalists, with Asia Pacific next with 6, Africa with 3, and Europe with 2. This is only the 6th time we've had 2 Central American nations place in the same year. More on that later. For the second year in a row, Portugal and its Iberian Peninsula neighbour Spain were the only 2 European nations to place. That is, having never previously placed in the same year together. 2023 is the first year we've had 2, let alone 3, South Asian nations place, namely Nepal, India, and Pakistan. And this is just the 3rd time we've had 3 African semi-finalists in the same year. The other times being 1999, when there were only 10 semi-finalists, a great year for African queens, and exactly 20 years ago, in 2003. We're now looking at the 10 nations that finished in the top 20, starting with Cameroon! In making its first semi-final in its 4th appearance, Cameroon, along with Pakistan, which I'll get to shortly, becomes roughly the 108th or 9th different nation or territory in history to reach the Miss Universe semi-finals. I say roughly because, as you can imagine, with countries splitting up, changing names, becoming a state of another territory, etc., it's not a perfect science. But you get my drift. Congrats, Issy. Celeste secured her country's first placement at Miss Universe since Gabriela Barros in 2004, and Chile's 14th overall in 60 appearances. They're a one-time winner, Cecilia Boloco, in 1987. Shweta notched India's 5th consecutive placement, continuing its second longest placement streak behind its 11 in a row from 1992 to 2002. India's active placement streak is the 3rd best at present, behind the USA and Puerto Rico, and equal with Colombia. More on them later. This was India's 27th placement overall. They're one of just 8 countries to have won at least 3 Miss Universe titles. Jordan scored Jamaica's 5th placement in the past 10 years and 10th overall. Having debuted in 1961, Jamaica didn't make the semi-finals until Sandra Foster did so in 1989. Their best result, Yendi Phillips's first runner-up in 2010. Jamila secured Namibia's first placement at Miss Universe in exactly 20 years and just 3rd overall. Of course, their first placement was by Michelle McLean, who went on to win the 1992 title. I've already covered how Jane has broken stereotypes, so I'm not revisiting the whole who was and wasn't a plus-size contestant from the past. Sticking to the cold, hard facts, Nepal achieved its 2nd placement at Miss Universe from its 7th attempt, having debuted in 2017. Their previous placement was a top 10 in 2018. Pakistan became the first nation in 15 years to make the Miss Universe semi-finals on debut. Of course, in the pageant's earlier years, nations placing on debut was a little more commonplace, but after Botswana became the 3rd nation to win the title on debut in 1999, the others being Finland and Colombia, Albania, China, Serbia and Montenegro, Latvia, Tanzania, Kosovo and now Pakistan are the only nations that made the semis in their first appearance. Erica will also go down in history as the first woman to compete in the finals night swimwear competition in a bikini. While Erica herself is a Christian, Christianity makes up just over 1% of the Pakistani population, while around 96% is Muslim. Marina became the first trans woman to make the Miss Universe semi-finals and presumably the first in an Alpha, Big Four or Grand Slam pageant. Portugal placed for consecutive years for the first time in its history, having only placed for the first time in 2011 and 4 times in total. South Africa secured its 3rd consecutive placement, 7th from the past 8 years, and 27th overall. Bryony was the first woman of Indian descent in 25 years to represent South Africa at Miss Universe, after Karishni Naika's top 10 finish in 1998.
Noelia Boy, U.S.A!
The U.S.A. placed for the 13th consecutive year, the longest active streak by far. It's also that country's 3rd double-digit placement streak, behind the longest and 3rd longest all-time, 22 and 18 respectively. The USA owns by far the highest amount of total semi-finals, 67 out of 71 attempts. With the USA winning last year's Miss Universe, here's a look at the results of the Stars and Stripes in the edition following their record 9 victories. If there were any fears Miss Universe wouldn't recognise the crossover queens who'd previously competed internationally, they were emphatically dispelled, with 6 of them reaching the top 10, and 3 of those 6 advancing to the top 5. More on that shortly. While Miss Universe 2023 was held in Central America, this year's pageant was actually the 4th time since 2011 that 2 Central American countries have placed in the same year. The only other times this happened was way back in 1954, and the following year in 1955, when 3 Central American queens placed, including El Salvador's first runner-up, Maribel Arrieta. Out of those years, only in 2011 and 2023 did 2 Central American queens make the top 10. Following on from that, and thrilling her home crowd, Isabella not only made the first cut, as did her compatriot host from 1975, Carmen Figueroa. She went on to achieve her country's 4th top 10 and first since 1996. El Salvador's results this year marked the 56th time in 72 editions that the Miss Universe host nation placed. Peru scored its 2nd straight placement and 4th in the past 5 years, its best run of success since the 1950s, when Gladys Zender won Peru's only Miss Universe crown in 1957. Camila Escribens had previously placed first runner-up in Miss Peru twice, in 2019 and also 2021. It somewhat avenged her 2021 national result, as the woman who beat Camila into 2nd place, Jelly Rivera, failed to place at Miss Universe in Israel. Michelle's top 10 finish was earlier than many of her fans expected, but nonetheless, this is the Philippines' 11th top 10 from the past 14 years, 20th top 10 all time, and 27th placement overall. The Philippines has had the equal 4th most top 10s since the turn of the millennium. Having been announced as winner of Best National Costume for the 3rd time, the Philippines moves into joint 6th place all-time on that list. Thailand and Colombia lead with 6 wins apiece. This was Spain's 20th placement all-time. Atenea, the first woman of colour to represent her country, helping secure Spain's first consecutive placements since 2013 and 14, having made top 16 in 2022. Its best placement streak is 3 in a row from 1999 to 2001. In winning Miss Congeniality, Atenea became only the 6th winner of that award to place in the main competition, following 1955, 58, 70, 2010 and 2013. Spain is now one of 17 nations to have won Miss Congeniality multiple times. After Amanda Dudamel's thrilling first runner-up effort last year, Venezuela scored consecutive top 10s for the first time since 2017 and 18. Venezuela's total haul of 36 top 10s is second only to the U.S.A.'s 49. Looking at the 5 women who made the top 8 at Miss Earth 2018 that went on to compete at Miss Universe, here are their results. Colombian Valeria Ayos had the most successful crossover, placing top 5 at Miss Universe 2021. The other crossover from this class that competed this year was Mexico's Melissa Flores, who went unplaced. More on Melissa shortly. One of my awesome viewers pointed out that at this stage of the competition, 4 of the top 5 nations had won the title at least twice, with the exception of, you guessed it, Nicaragua. As I mentioned earlier, the crossover queens excelled this year. Of the 6 who made the top 10, 3 of them advanced to the top 5. Shanice Palacios, top 40 at Miss World 2021, and the 2 Miss Supranational queens, 2019 winner Antonia Porcild and 2021 first runner-up Carla Gilfu. And at this point, I want to congratulate the Miss Supranational organisation for their sincere and gracious handling of this situation, seeing 2 of their successful queens compete in another major international competition. Their public adulation of Carla and Antonia, noting that they'll forever be family, and seeing the emotional interactions between them and Antonia in particular after the pageant was incredibly heartwarming. This is really what international pageantry should be about. Camila scored Colombia's 19th top 5 result and 7th in the past decade alone. It was also their 25th top 10 and 39th placement. Next year, Colombia is coming up to a full decade since its last victory. Since Mexico and the USA have recently managed to win another title 10 years after their previous one, is it Colombia's turn? The shining star of the Caribbean extends its best ever placement streak to 6, the second best active streak behind the USA's 13. Puerto Rico, a 5-time winner of Miss Universe, scores consecutive top 5s for the first time since 2018 and 19, and before that, 2004 to 2006, and 1970 and 71. This was the 24th consecutive year a Latin American country reached the top 3 at Miss Universe. If we also include Hispanic nations such as Spain, the last time there were neither a Latina nor Hispanic queen in the top 3 was in 1995. Australia entered the top 3 for the 7th time, its 12th top 5, 18th top 10, and 22nd placement overall. It was also Australia's first time with consecutive placements since 2014 and 15. Australia's second runner-up finish was its 4th such result, its best placement since Jacinta Campbell did the same in 2010. Coincidentally, both the 2010 and 2023 pageants had the same musician perform during the evening gown competition, Grammy Award winner John Legend. In terms of its other top 3 results, Australia is a 2-time winner in 1972 and 2004, and 1-time first runner-up in 1971.
Antonia Thailand!
It was Thailand's 14th placement, snapping a 2-year non-placement streak. It was also their 11th top 10, 6th top 5, and 4th top 3. With its first runner-up finish, Thailand returned to the top 3 and top 2 for the first time since Pontip Nakirankanok won her country's second crown in 1988, following top 5 finishes in 2017 and 19 and top 6 in 2016. Antonia Porcild was aiming to become the first ever winner of 2 Grand Slam crowns, having won Miss Supranational in 2019. Yes, Lara Dutta won Miss Intercontinental and Miss Universe, but I'm going by the Global Beauty's definition of Grand Slam pageants. And given their ability to predict the results of major pageants, I think they know what they're talking about. This was Nicaragua's first time in the top 3 and top 5, second top 10 and 5th placement overall, second in 4 years and 3rd since 2013. Shanice Palacios is the 7th Miss World crossover to win Miss Universe, having competed at Miss World 2021, whose winner, Karolina Bielavska, is still reigning as that pageant's current queen. As I mentioned earlier, Shanice was also one of 6 women in the top 10 that had previously competed internationally. Ironically, her result in Miss World was the most modest of all, those 6 crossover queens, but here she is with one of the biggest titles of them all. Having seen the USA extend its lead in Miss Universe titles last year, the other end of the tally is in the spotlight this year, with Nicaragua becoming the 35th and latest nation to win Miss Universe, including Russia and Panama in 2002. While Nicaragua is the second Central American country to hold the Miss Universe title, it's the first to be crowned on finals night itself. Panama's Justine Pasek assumed the 2002 title 118 days after finals night, when Russian Oksana Fedorova resigned or was dethroned, whichever story you believe. Link in the corner for more on that in my ever popular top 5 most controversial Miss Universe victories. Nicaragua is one of only 8 winning nations at Miss Universe with a single-digit placement total, as is shown here. We have a first-time winning nation for the first time in 12 years. Here's a look at the countries that have won their first Miss Universe title in the past 40 years. Nicaragua won its first title on its 41st attempt, which is the equal longest wait with the Dominican Republic, which won its first and so far only crown in 2003 by Amelia Vega. Speaking of which, we now have 2 separate instances of Miss Universe title holders sharing the same surname. And curiously, in both instances, the pairs of women come from different countries. Our new Miss Universe, Nicaragua's Shanice Palacios, has the same surname as Miss Universe 1986, Venezuela's Barbara Palacios. They join Amelia Vega and Paulina Vega, Miss Universe 2003 and 14 respectively, from the Dominican Republic and Colombia respectively. Nicaragua wins its first Big Four or Grand Slam pageant, its previous best result being a top 5 at Miss World 2001 and top 10 at Miss Universe 2007. Just a few stats about some non-placing nations that I thought were worth mentioning. First and foremost, congratulations to our Miss El Tocuyo for 2023, Melissa Flores from Mexico, who just edged out Dominican Republic and France in the voting. And congrats to the El Tocuyo team for some hugely entertaining Instagram content during the pageant. If you're not aware, Miss El Tocuyo is given to the most hyped delegate that fails to place. On a related note, Mexico and Brazil were the top 2 in 2020, and neither has placed in the 3 years since. And Malta extends its non-placement record of all nations, 42 appearances without a single placement. Hopefully that was a sufficient dose of facts and figures covering Miss Universe 2023. Can you think of any other fun facts or stats? Leave them in the comments below. Okay, that's all for today. As always, I'd be super grateful for your support by hitting the thumbs up, subscribe, and super thanks. Thanks for watching and for checking out my content over this exciting Miss Universe season. I might take a small break over the festive season to recharge the nerdy batteries, but I'll be back soonish with some more fresh pageant content. Look after yourselves and be kind to your fellow pageant fans. I'm the Pageant Nerd. Bye for now.